After watching this video, I promise you will drop your first 4K damage game. And if I can't do that, then I promise you your average damage per game will increase. I've had so many testimonies of players that have struggled to drop a 4K damage game, and as soon as they started watching my channel, they finally were able to drop their first 4K. And that makes me happy. One, because it makes you happy, and two, that means I'm doing a good job with my instruction. You will not find 4K guides like this anywhere on YouTube, except here at the Scrapyard. Here's a 4K damage game of mine where I'll be providing some commentary that you guys will utilize to help you guys get your first 4K damage game. I prefer this commentary over the typical tip format that you see on YouTube because it gives you guys valuable insight into my decision making when I'm going for a 4,000 damage game, because decision making is the most important aspect of your gaming experience. So buckle up, and without further ado, let's get it. Bam 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 bam. Just like with every other commentary that I've given you guys, I'm landing hot because that's where you need to land to drop high damage games. But even though I'm landing in a hot spot, I find a place within this POI that's not so hot. Simple tip, but it's obviously something that many people don't understand. And so you'll see this is exactly what I do. I find a space within this POI that's not contested, and I land there to give me time, enough time, uncontested time to loot up without being challenged off rip. But nonetheless, my teammate lands nowhere near me, and I actually do unfortunately have an enemy team land right on me, but it's just one of them. So I loot both of these bins to try to find some sort of weapon to take this 1v1, considering that I have the armor advantage, but I was not able to find a gun, and there is absolutely no reason for me to sit there and overstay my stay when that guy clearly has a weapon and I have nothing to defend myself with. So I brace it out. And whether you're playing Loba or another movement legend or a character that has no movement at all, in a situation like that, you just need to run away. Remember my 3 R's of Apex: retreat, reassess, re-engage. I fought that guy off rip with no weapon, and he had a weapon. Although I had the armor advantage, I retreated because I didn't have a gun. I reassessed the situation after looting up, and I realized, wow, there's Octane right here, and he's running away from me, and now I have weapons to fight, so now I re-engage with that Octane right there. But I don't continue pushing that way because I don't know what's going on over that way over there. So I throw a thermite behind me at that door just to give me some notification. If anybody walks past that door and they hit that thermite, then it'll tick them and I know someone's behind me. After a little recon, I realize it's just the Octane's teammate by herself, this Horizon, and I one-clip her in the process. I hear a Wraith walk out behind and above me to try to get some angles on us, but that Wraith is now not an immediate threat anymore as she's not actively engaging us. So I throw my ult down to try to get some loot, and then I notice at the same time that Wraith is looting down here. I only recognize that because of that blue armor swap that happened. I crack her for 90 and I brace it up to here to high ground because I'm assuming that this is where she'll be. So I try to cut her off, but at the same time I ran straight into her crypto teammate that was sitting there ratting without absolutely any movement. And I see some shots happening over to the right side over there. So I throw a thermite down to cut off that angle, and I go back to thirst that crypto for as much damage as I can, because I try to remind you guys, when you're trying to drop your first 4K damage game, you need to be thirsting everything in sight, whether it's your kill or not. And so as I make my way back towards my Lobo ultimate so I can loot up and heal up, do whatever I need to do, I notice that my teammate at the same time got a knock on somebody. And we'll get back to all of this in a second. This is very important, but remember the term enemy recognition, okay? So as I push up, I'm assuming that this Wraith is his teammate because they're in close proximity to each other. I could be wrong, but that's my assumption. And in this moment, because that Wraith immediately died, I thought that it could have been his teammate. But the Pathfinder never got thirsted even after I killed that Wraith, and I'm taking that into consideration right now. And so I'm looking around my area to see what's going on, and I thirst that Pathfinder that my teammate knocked. But I know that he has to have a teammate, and it can't be this Pathfinder. I know that the Pathfinder that grappled on me has to have another teammate somewhere else. And so now I'm immediately looking and trying to locate and find her. And I land on her, I kick her, and I do the damage. I don't care about getting the kill there, but I did the majority damage, and that's all that matters to me. And now I hear this last catalyst come by. She jumps right down, vacates her high ground. That's a horrible play on her part. She jumps down straight onto me. I get the kill, but as long as I get the main majority damage, that's all that matters to me. I don't mind getting yoinked when I'm trying to drop a 4K damage game. All I care about is doing the majority of the damage. Now let's quickly rewind and talk about that term that I discussed earlier, enemy recognition. Recognizing what enemies on what team. And you could do this most of the time by assuming that if these two enemies are in the same place as one another, they're probably on the same team. And you can also do it by paying attention to the kill feed. So quickly pay attention. So once I kill that Horizon, I notice this Wraith walk out onto the balcony right here on the high ground. And so once I engage in combat with her, I'm able to see what kind of skin she's wearing, and I take mental notes of that. She is wearing the orange bald Wraith skin. So as she phases out and I take high ground and I kill her crypto teammate, how do I know it's her crypto teammate? Because that's the same door that the Wraith just walked out of. And so my assumption is, upon fighting this crypto, that because this is the same door that the Wraith just walked out of 2 seconds ago, and I didn't hear any gunshots indicating that the crypto was trying to fight her, my assumption is now these two are on the same team. And so now I associate these two with one another. And this association is important because that Wraith is still alive and she phased out. But I killed her teammate, and so now I know that this Wraith is solo, and if I see another orange skin Wraith, I know she's by herself. Next, so you have my teammate getting a knock against Hung Hot Dog. What a name. And I'm reading his name out loud to you to show you guys how often that I look at the kill feed. This information is important for enemy recognition. So as I fall back to help my teammate out after he got that knock, guess who I run into? The orange bald Wraith skin that I was fighting earlier, who's now solo because I killed her crypto teammate. This now means that the guy that my teammate killed, Hung Hot Dog, has to have another teammate. It can't be that Wraith because that Wraith had a crypto teammate and we're in duos. So now I'm looking to try to find where Hung Hot Dog's teammate is. I have no intel on that. At the same time, I'm trying to locate where this knocked Pathfinder's teammate is. I get grappled on by another Pathfinder, and I mentioned it before, you can't have 2 Pathfinders on the same team. So this information now indicates that there's a whole nother team pushing me. I got the kill on that second Pathfinder, and now I'm trying to locate where his teammate is or where the initial knocked Pathfinder's teammate is. Whoever reveals themselves first to me, because we have now killed a guy on each of their teams, which means this is a 2v1v1, us 2 against 2 solos. Now the lifeline came exactly where that Pathfinder grappled from. I now associate those 2 on the same team because of that. Enemies in super close proximity are usually on the same team. So this lifeline is that Pathfinder's teammate, and I kill her. But I still haven't killed Hung Hot Dog's teammate yet. I wonder who that is. Oh, what's up, Hung Hot Dog's teammate? My name's Scrappy. Catch this one clip. Understanding things such as enemy recognition is so important, and it makes 4K damage games so easy because it tells you who you should be fighting. So once we killed off everybody in this POI, I now hear us being pushed from outside of the POI, indicating that this team came from somewhere else. So I immediately take high ground here to give myself an advantage and new angles on this enemy team, and I immediately clip that Octane right there, and now it's a 2v1. I'm playing duo, so once you eliminate one threat, you only have one other threat to worry about. So I get aggressive right there because we have the numbers advantage, and I move on to the next fight. As we slide down this hill, we run into a team here. I hear them from a little far away, but I'm able to get some good shots onto that Octane right there to put him out of the fight. So now I brace it up to engage in him or the enemy, but his enemy teammate had a beautiful angle on me and ripped me to shreds, so I had to fall back towards my teammate to pop this battery. At that same time, the Octane walks out, the Octane that I already fried, so I know he's semi-weak underneath that shield, and I had just popped the battery, so I was healthy. So that's a fight that I have to engage in, and I get him knocked, and I'm healing up on top while I let my teammate take that 1v1. If he died right there, that's fine. I'm full 225 health. I push him and we win the fight still. So as we win that fight, another team pushes us to third party us. I'm a little split from my teammate and I see him getting bum rushed by 2 guys. So I brace it back over, always to high ground, to help cover that angle for him. Now at the same time, I had this Pathfinder climb up on me with minimal audio, but I'm able to get some amazing shots right there onto him and finish him off right there, and I got him knocked. But my teammate's up there and gets decimated by the enemy team. So now we're in a 1v1 situation, but I'm not fully healthy, and in order to fight that guy, I have to climb up. So I armor swap instead to save time from healing, and I allow that Wraith to push out herself and open up an angle onto herself as I backed up, and I got some shots into her. She's now very weak. She panic phases, and I push her because, again, she's very weak. I need to be aggressive there, and I finish her off. I see one Mirage right here, so now that's locked into my mind. And as I push forward, I now see a Gibby over here who's very weak, and he doesn't bubble out, so he continued to chow me while he was very weak, and I kill him right there. And now I push over, and I see this other Wraith shoot underneath me, indicating exactly where that Mirage was, the Mirage that I initially shot that bamboozled me. So knowing that information, she's not shooting a rock down there, she's shooting that Mirage. So I pushed down there, he's sitting there ratting. He did not think that I would know that he was right there, but the other guy, the third party, gave away his position for me. And now I'm assuming that this Wraith is solo because this whole time I haven't seen any of her teammates. So I get aggressive right here. I challenge her. I take the 1v1. I take the initiative to do the majority damage on her because that's what I need to do when dropping 4K damage games. I have to be the one putting in the pain and putting in all the shots, taking away all their health. If not, and I let my teammate take all the health and damage, then that's less damage for me to get, obviously. So I played that perfectly. Now I loot up and get what I need so that I can push the next fight. In order to get 4K damage games, you need to have sufficient loot. So as soon as every fight is done, I throw my Lobo ultimate down, I go into it, I grab heals and ammunition, and I'm looking for the next fight immediately afterwards. And as soon as we're done looting here, we run straight into a Bangalore and Ash team, and notice how passive they're playing. They are actually very scared. They're on the defense the entire time that I'm on the offense, as they continuously run away further and further. And that position is something that I like to be in. It tells me that the enemy team is not confident in themselves, and so I like to take advantage of that and capitalize on those opportunities, because to me, that is easy damage and easy kills. But one thing you have to be wary about when you have a team that's running away as hard as this is that at any moment they can do what I call turn and burn. Running away, turning around, and holding a head glitch of some sort to potentially open up a one-clip opportunity on you. Because if you're being uber aggressive like I am right now, you're usually not going to be using cover, and this can open up a perfect opportunity for you to get one clipped. And you'll see it almost happen here as well. But you'll see right here, this Ashe does it perfectly. She's not hiding behind any cover. If she was hiding behind cover, making herself a harder target to hit, I probably wouldn't have been able to do about 80 damage to her. And that's the reason why I was able to stay alive there. She turned and burned pretty good on me, but I was able to get some shots on her because she vacated her cover completely, and that delays her push. So I fall back and heal up, and now my teammate is extremely weak, and so now I need to sit here and wait for my teammate to heal up so that we can now push together as a unit. So once we're both healed up, it's now time to re-engage in this fight, and so I take the zipline over this little wall right here to open up a new angle, and I fry that Ashe. So now in my mind, that Ashe is out of the fight, and so now I am looking for her Bangalore teammate to try and kill her within this window that I've created, as that Ashe is going to heal up at least for the next 5 seconds, and she's out of that fight now. I get an angle on this Bangalore and I rip her for everything, but that Ashe had an angle right behind me. I missed the window that I had to kill that Bangalore while that Ashe was healing by just a little bit, and as that Ashe healed up, she fried me from the right side, and now it delays my push. But because I did so much damage to her Bangalore teammate and that Bang is now one tap, the Ashe can no longer push us. If that Ashe decided to push us right here by herself, she would have been in a 2v1 situation and she would have died. And so now I re-engage once I'm fully healthy, and I see this Bangalore right here holding me out, doing a little damage to me. So I flick over to the other angle that where I knew that Ashe would be, and I do major damage to the Ashe right here. And as I turn to look at the other angle where the Bangalore was at, I do a lot of damage on her as well. And so now both of these guys are very weak and out of the fight, and so now it's pretty much 50-50. I choose who I want to push. That Ashe is sitting behind the door right there. I kind of lost where that Ashe was, so instead of taking time to try to find her, I go and push this Bangalore because I know where exactly she's at, and this Bangalore's in the wide open. Again, I split both of these two teammates from one another. I have full health. This Bangalore has no shield. And then, of course, I get aggressive and I push her. And I do extra damage from this finisher right here. But, of course, you have to spam it a couple times to let them know who's boss. It's important to take control of every fight that you get into when dropping your first 4K damage game. In that fight that I just had with that Bangalore and Ashe, I dominated and controlled that fight 90% of the time. The only time that I didn't have complete control of that fight is when that Ashe turned on me and hit me for like 180. But other than that, I maintained the highest time of possession to all my sports fans out there. I controlled the pace of that fight, which allowed me to ultimately win it at the end. But of course, enemy recognition. I now have to remember that I killed this Bangalore, but that Ashe teammate of hers is still alive, so I'm keeping that in the back of my mind as I engage this next fight. And I brace it onto her and I challenge her to try and get as much damage as I can on her. She pops a battery right there at the perfect time, which gives me a little more damage. And I got aggressive like that because I don't want my teammate or the enemy team to kill and take away this damage opportunity for me. So I challenge that Ashe quickly, do a lot of damage on her, and I finish her off. And then I push the initial team that she was fighting. And this right here you can't really teach. This is just some crazy shots. I eliminate the first threat, and now all that's left is the second threat. As she's running away, I clip her on something vicious with the R9 at range. Didn't miss a single shot on her. Now I understand why people say that I have aimbot. And now at that same time I finish that fight, I'm being shot at from behind by this Vantage. She's probably solo the way that she just pushed us right there. I'm thinking that she's solo. I didn't get the kill. I got a yoink from me by my teammate at the end right there. But again, that doesn't matter when I'm trying to drop 4K damage games. The only thing that I have to worry about is doing the initial entry damage of every enemy. If I'm dropping my first 4K damage game, I don't care if my teammate yoinks all my kills, as long as I'm getting that 4K badge by doing all the entry damage. As always, I hope you guys learned something. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments why you guys think you struggle so hard with dropping a 4K game. I love seeing the responses from you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get to 40K, and I'll see you guys next time. Best of luck. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam,